Hello and welcome to E-Inspiration here on India Today Television. And today I've got somebody who is arguably the most successful batsman in IPL history. 50-50s. Look at the kind of consistency this man has shown over the last several years. Consistency at the top of the order that has won his team an IPL competition, that has taken them to the playoffs multiple times. At the top of the order, he's been terrific in one word. David Warner, welcome to the show. Plenty to talk about, but most importantly, the tournament has happened. All of you are finally back to playing cricket. Whoever wins, first thoughts now that 1 month has passed, your first thoughts on this tournament and how successful and important it is for world cricket.
Yeah, thanks, Paul, for allowing me to come on the show, and thank you for your kind words. You're always very, very kind to me. Yeah, look, I think what a way to start. Like obviously the IPL, but first of all, thanking the BCCI and all the people behind the scenes to actually get everything happening, moving a whole tournament, over 3,000 people collectively to move, who are already booked in at all these hotels and venues, and then shipped over to Dubai to host the tournament here. Obviously, Dubai is no stranger to holding tournaments, but obviously when you only get a couple of weeks to prepare, they were always happy to take the IPL, and so far it's going extremely well, and us players are extremely grateful for being able to be back on the park and playing the game that we love, and putting smiles on people's faces back at home during these unprecedented times.
You know, you are such a great ambassador for the sport, David Warner. I mean, every time we see you on television, the intensity that you bring, the passion that you bring is infectious to the sport. And every youngster, whether it is a Priyam Garg in your team or an Abhishek Sharma, should model themselves on the intensity and passion that you bring to the table. So far, it's been a checkered campaign. Are you confident you can still bring it on track? Because as leader and batsman, you hold the key in several ways for your team.
Yeah, look, it's a great question that you point out there with the youngsters and aggression. There's obviously a difference between, the aggression with body language when you're out there. When you're batting, your loud calling, your intent between wickets. They're the things that we try to educate anyone that sort of comes into our sort of inner sanctum, I must say. And those guys are extremely well. They're strong, they're athletic, they're fast. And I love their talent. They're special kids. Obviously, we're halfway through the tournament. We need to win, I think, 4 out of 6. But one thing that I love about this game is the unknown. And also, when people have their backs up against the wall, and you can play with more freedom, because if you lose a couple, then you're out. So that can spark everyone. My team, our team, is in great spirits. We're really enjoying being back on the park. We're thankful we've got fantastic franchise owners that understand the game, that really realize that, yeah, you can have back-to-back losses, you can have back-to-back wins. But at the end of the day, we have to go back to the drawing board, regardless if you win or lose, and work out how you're going to defeat the next opponent.
You know, that's a very, very good answer. And that sort of brings me to my next question, that as leader, when you lose a match like the one, say, against the Rajasthan Royals or even Chennai, which you had under control, Rajasthan especially, how do you sort of inspire your boys that, okay, this is a one-off, that was a Houdini act? I mean, whether it's a Khalil, whether it's a Sandeep Sharma. For example, the way Sandeep Sharma came back in that Chennai game after the Rajasthan game talks about leadership also. What is your philosophy of leadership? How do you turn things around, David Warner, after a loss? And for the next half of the tournament, how do you motivate your boys?
Yeah, I think you got to keep it really simple and try and take as many positives as you can out of those 2 games. We always pride ourselves on obviously our death bowling and getting off to a good start with the bat. This tournament so far, we've had to sort of work the other way around, and through the middle, we've lost some early wickets. And then we've obviously let a couple of games slip with the ball. So they're little basic things. It's just execution. Probably the deliveries at the wrong times. Probably too many of the one delivery. And the bowlers know that. We had a good 15-minute individual chat with each of the bowlers the other day before the Chennai game. And we asked them, where would they bowl? What's the right lengths to bowl? And then we showed them their pitch map just to give them a visual sight of what they're trying to do and where the ball's actually landing. So the great thing for me is Sandy, Sandy came to me and asked, if he could have, say, a third man to Shane Watson. And in this tournament, no people are really fielding it a third man unless you're Jofra Archer. And I allowed him to do that with both him and Faf. And he just said to me to believe him and believe in his lengths. First ball, Faf, he nicked off. And I was like, well done. No, and then what he did, he brought third man up, set a different field for Ambit. So the thing that's showing leadership himself by coming to me and asking to have a little bit of leeway when he was out there. And I said, that's fine. You own your 24 deliveries. And that's the message I keep giving across to these bowlers. You're accountable for your 24 deliveries. And they love that. They love that responsibility.
Brilliant captaincy. I mean, the fact that what you just told me, I can say that's, you are empowering your boys. You are giving them the confidence. This is the hallmark of a true leader. One thing might be an issue for your team is the lack of a power hitter. I mean, and we've discussed this, Kane Williamson, tremendous batsman and leader, but are you missing a power hitter? And what is the solution? Can Abdul Samad step into the fore? Can Abhishek Sharma do the job for you? What is your thought process for the rest of the tournament? Because that is one area you might need improvement.
Yeah, right there, Boria. These are the questions that are going to be raised in the team meeting, I'm pretty sure. The team selection meeting. They're obviously going to be talking about that issue right there. The hardest thing about, this franchise stuff is that IPL, you can only play 4 overseas. It's very difficult with our lineup and what we have with our structure to try and fit someone else in. That is the ultimate question from last game, was whether or not play Nadeem or Abhishek. Would Nadeem benefit out of going, maybe 1 or 2 for 25 rather than the 2 part-time bowlers going for, 40 plus? So they're the things that we're going to have to tinker with. And then whatever we do settle with, I think we have to have that momentum. So give back-to-back games to that team to see how it works. Because if it doesn't work, we're out. So we just might as well keep working hard with that team that we do put on the park. There might be some disappointed people as well, but that's the game of cricket. You have to understand that it's the best thing for the team. We just got to accept that.
Okay, coming to you again. One thing, batting, leave aside for a second. I mean, obviously you're a champion, and I will ask a couple of questions there. But the one thing that every youngster who watches you, Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers and Johnny Bairstow do together is running between the wickets. That is just, exhilarating to watch in those temperatures. Even after you field for 20 overs and you're throwing yourself around every ball, when you come out to bat, the way you run between the wickets is a lesson for any youngster watching the game. Day in, day out, you are able to do that. It is special. Can you give me an insight into this aspect of your game that every youngster in your team from India should learn from you?
Yeah, from my point of view, the understanding about smart cricket. So outside the first 6, you don't have to take those risks. I'm not like a Kieran Pollard or a Hardik Pandya. I just can't go out there for the team's point of view and just try and hit sixes. They have the luxury to do this. So we need to, for me, I believe if I can get 6 twos, there's 12 runs off the over. If you can do that for 4 or 5 overs in a row, yeah, you're going to be tired, but I'm trained for that. I've worked my backside off for years and years and years to be able to do that. So you take out those risks by being able to hit twos, and then what happens is you might get a boundary ball. So it's all about thinking and the thought process behind it. That's like having an extra string to your bow, being able to run fast twos. And it's great to have guys at the other end who are able to do that as well. But in saying that, you as a partner have to be able to communicate and trust each other's calls. That is what I've got with Johnny when we're batting together. I haven't batted too much with the other guys yet down in the middle, but they understand, when I call 2, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 2. It's you're looking for that 2. So they're the things that you have to actually work on when you're out there. But the physical side of this game, is important with big boundaries through the middle. You here in Dubai especially, 85 meters. Yeah, you can hit 85 meters, but it's a high risk shot because you have to hit it so clean to clear the fence. Now, if you've got the option to run twos in that middle period, it's risk free. That's from my point of view. The bigger guys, they can definitely try and take the boundaries on.
Super. I mean, now to a bit of a critical one, Devi, and I want your thoughts on this. Virat Kohli is on record taking the point from your game against Chennai and that Paul Reiffel call of a wide. And he says captains should now have the opportunity, should review wides and waist-high full tosses. Because one such ball, if Rashid Khan got that for 6, that match could have gone anyway or either way. So Virat is on record saying captains should now have the opportunity to review these. Your thoughts on this? Because one ball, we know, in this format can take the game other way or any other way. Umpires can make mistakes. Paul Reiffel did. On television, it was proved. So your thoughts on Virat's comments?
Yeah, look, I think having seen the other day, I know that players, myself guilty, when the bowler bowls a bouncer and we think it's, it should be a wide, you do question, where's the consistency? But as we've sat through these captain meetings plenty of times, they still want to keep a human element component to the game, which I know with technology, it's all there, right? It's there to use. But what people have to understand is if we're talking about, as captains being down in overs and time and you're going to lose, a couple of lack here and there if you're late, well, you're going to slow the game a lot more down. So, in that case, they're saying waist high, no balls. They'll always check if you're out only. So you can't review that. I find wide calls, look, that could be a third umpire decision as well with giving the no balls. I think if they feel like it's a wide, I always had this argument, you have the wide line, a bowler's bowling this way, now where does it cut the wide line? The front of the wide line or the back of the wide line? So there's so many variables in this. There's no right or wrong answer. I just think the other day with MS at that point, I know he would have been frustrated if it was called a wide, but the simple fact was it was a wide. The umpire was going to call a wide, and he changed his mind by looking at the opposition captain's body language. Now, I'm not saying this because it was MS Dhoni. It was because the captain was in the sight of the umpire right behind him. So he's behind there as wicketkeeper. He can see that. So he's, showing his frustration, which we all do that. We all do that at times as captains. We show our frustration. But at the end of the day, they can make their calls how they make the calls, and we just got to respect that. So there's no point of arguing. Can't take it back.
See, that is the spirit of the game, you are upholding, and that is what makes you who you are. That at the end of the day, it is very important to say, okay, yes, there was a mistake, but there is a human element. Love that. Love that, because all you said everything, but you said ultimately what prevails is the spirit of the game. That's what makes David Warner. Superb. There was an argument between Khalil and Tewatia. You stopped that. These kind of things make you who you are. Absolutely make you who you are. Now, Davy, when you have to turn things around, you've already given me an insight. Now, you've got to lead from the front. Does that make it more pressure for you, or you are accustomed that Hyderabad Sunrisers in many ways equal to David Warner, Johnny Bairstow, Rashid Khan, Kane Williamson, that kind of thing? Obviously David Warner. Does that give you more pressure, or you sort of look at it as, this is my role, I am the leader, I will have to take this as an opportunity? How do you look at it?
Yeah, the role that I always play is the one that I've always dreamt of doing. I open the batting for my country. I open the batting for Sunrisers Hyderabad. I open the batting for New South Wales. I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do, and I really enjoy that. The responsibility of being captain or being a leader in a team, you have the ultimate responsibility to go out there and give 100% every time you go out there. And that's what I try to achieve every time I walk out there. Do I feel the added pressure? I don't. I don't feel the added pressure because I've got the support and the backing of the guys that are below me that come in after me. So the way that we're playing our game at the moment, we're just not getting across the line in a certain area. There's no solution to it. I did agree with your point of maybe having a power hitter there at the end. Could be missing. I think the one detail that we haven't had two batters in towards the end of any game. So that there is one slight problem. So that's really important to winning games. Myself haven't really been there towards the back end of any of the innings, but yet again, the ultimate thing is you've got a team that's there. Now, people always talk about my stats and whatever they are. Stats are stats. And what happens in the past has happened in the past. I've scored a lot of runs at the top of the order. Yeah, I've gone deep into the games. But you can't always do that. You can't always achieve that. You try as hard as you can. But the support and the backing that I have and trust in the guys that come after me in our order are playing the right brand of cricket that we want to play. It's just not executing it enough to have those partnerships towards the back end. And I really believe that this will happen in the next couple of games.
Fabulous. Now just to switch gears, I mean, all of you guys are playing together, whether it is you and Khalil, whether it is Virat and, Australians in this lineup, whether it is Shreyash and Marcus. We have this huge series coming up. I mean, straight on, you all will be on a flight to whichever part of your country, and then that massive, massive winter series, your summer, our winter series, which will define world cricket. It's such exciting times for world cricket. Are you looking at that as well? The India v Australia, you missed it last time.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors to get these venues up and running, working out bio bubbles. These unprecedented times, it's challenging for everyone. And obviously the schedule hasn't really came out. There was a draft that came out. Once it's locked in, then the players can obviously start switching on and looking towards, batting at, say, the Adelaide Oval or, MCG, wherever we are going to play, and switch on to that mode. At the moment, we're all friends. And then once we get to Australia, it's off that plane. We say our goodbyes and give each other a hug, and it's battle of the country. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's a great thing about IPL. You get along so well, but we can compartmentalize, and that's the beauty of it. We can switch, we can switch it like that. And I think that's where the passion lies with especially guys like Virat, because, his passion is fantastic. It's great. He rides every single moment, and that's what gets him into the contest, and that's why he plays the way he does, and that's why he's so good. So, I'm really looking forward to that challenge. I really, really missed that series. I watched very closely, but at the moment, the thing I'm seeing is that there's a few injuries floating around as well. So, that's what comes with playing no cricket, not being able to get out there. A few of the Australian guys as well, we've spoken about how fatigued we're getting, into this sort of IPL campaign, just because of the heat. Like, it's so hot, so it's really zapping you. The back-to-back games, you've got to improvise with ice baths. You have to have ice baths in your rooms because you can't, in the change rooms, you can't shower in there. You can't use the toilet facilities. So all these strict bio measures. People are going to have to think outside the square, especially when we get to Australia as well, how to recover.
Last question, Davey, on my show. That India-Australia series, I think it is now as big as the Ashes. I mean, India v Australia, that series, the kind of viewership, the kind of interest, the kind of intensity, competition, it is as big as the Ashes for world cricket. You agree with me that it is that marquee series now, that each player who plays in it will be looking forward with bated breath?
Do I have to be political? I think, 100%. Since starting playing Test cricket, I didn't realize how one-sided everyone just sees the Ashes is the Ashes. That's the pinnacle of playing Test cricket for Australia, is playing the Ashes. When you play against India, it's a different ball game. Like, it's the energy's risen a bit more. You got this sort of like, you almost go over to India And it's almost like India themselves think when they come to Australia, you go, all right, how am I going to scrape to win? How are we going to scrape to beat these guys? What do we have to do to get that first win on the board to make a statement? You know, it's a very difficult thing. It's hard, fast wickets to slow spinning wickets. It's such a difference. Where Australia, you go from using a kookaburra to a duke that swings around corners. So there's two, big contrasts. So I think in saying and in finishing, the contest between India and Australia should be definitely held in regard up there as one of the biggest series in world cricket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And may I finish on these lines that, as I've said at the start of my show, you have shown consistency of a level which is unmatched and unrivaled. Hyderabad Sunrisers need you, Australia needs you, the rest of the IPL needs you, the brand, because you add to that brand. So all I will say is more power to you, more strength to you as leader, batsman, captain, ambassador. Turn it around for Hyderabad Sunrisers. You can, because you are David Warner. You're good for the game. And thank you very much for once again gracing my show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Wish you the very best. And as I said, more power to you.
Thanks, Boria. And I just want to say one thing. I just want to make sure that everyone keep doing what you're doing at home to stay safe and stop this virus. Keep working hard. We're all in this together. And thanks for all your support. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you very much.